Hi, this is a review of Enki Future for 5th of February 2026. So what we can see in the overnight session here, we can see the bigger context, which is we had these two large legs down, and we also have this down measure move still in play, but it wasn't met. We can see that each leg down has its own channel. So initially we had this channel here, which had a tiny break playing out with this push here before making a correction. And then after the correction was done, we can see that we have made two pushes up. Then the second leg of this push played out as well. Had a break and an attempt to make a new high for this uptrend, but failed. And we can see that it failed close to this potential downtrend line. So when we see this failure, push below the down measure move here, and then retesting it from below and pushing back under it, then we can consider that a larger trend is forming. So this is when we knew this downtrend may be in play, and a new low may be what price will do for this initial leg down. So when you see this push here, you are considering that price may make a second larger leg similar to this one. So this is when you do two things: you project the second potential target for this down measure move, and at the same time you are looking at these swings here and understand how price reacts to it. So, and in this case we can see that from this high we have two small attempts to make a new high, but we failed in the same area, holding under this potential trend line. Then we push back down. At this point we're considering this as a break for this correction, and there are two choices: either we make another leg higher for this correction, or we end up holding on this trend line or pushing below and holding above this down measure move. So when we see this hold here, this indication that price may actually go down. So yeah, this is what happens 2 days ago. But if you look at this from the previous session, it's similar, because we had this second leg down, which had this overshoot. Overshoot commonly lead to breaks on the other side of the channel. So this downtrend had this overshoot. We're expecting a break on this other side, and this initially started like this, but then we get this second larger leg as a break plays out, and it tries to form this larger break for the entire downtrend. And when we see this high here, we are applying the same idea as here. So we get one attempt to make a new high, and this would be the first smaller attempt to make a new high failing, which creates this larger break. And then we go again for this large uptrend here. This is the first attempt to make a new high. This is the second attempt to make a new high, and a failure. And there are two things to look and to consider at that moment. First of all, at this moment you are expecting either a break for this correction and another leg higher, something like this, and another leg higher, or you might expect that the downtrend may continue, and after we get this break of this large downtrend, we may go for a new low. So to help you understand what price will actually do, it's useful to look at how price reacts around this potential trend line here, and you can see you have clear bounces. So from this high you have one bounce, second bounce, and then a smaller failed second entry long, and rejection. This is an indication that price most likely will attempt a new low for this large downtrend. So it's similar to how it happened here. So this break, second leg of the break overshot, but then it found resistance around this area, and then it made these attempts, but we get clear rejection at this potential trend line. And now in the overnight session, it happened the same exact thing. So yeah, if you project this potential trend line, it can help you identify what price may do next. And the second clue is, okay, we see this bounce here, which indicates that we may attempt a new low, right? And the second clue is how price reacts under this potential break. So this initially, when you see this failure here, it can do one of the following. It can create a larger break for the uptrend here, going for a new high, or it can go straight away to make a new low, which happened here. And not even that, but you can even see it holding under it. And then this second leg of the push down actually plays out with two smaller legs to a new low. So it's the same thing that happened here. So we get this rejection at this potential trend line. We push down, we eventually push through the down measure move. We retest it from below and then we push lower. So it's similar here. We push through the down measure move. We retest it from below and we make another new low here. And yeah, price was quite similar to what we had the previous day. So once we get this second leg to a new low, which also plays out with two smaller legs to a new low, then we finally get a break. And what looks to have happened here is that we got, after this failure, we got two more legs, two larger legs to a new low. So initially you're considering these two legs to a new low when you see this push down. Then we get this break and another leg to a new low. So what that tells us is that these two initial legs to a new low, they have a break, and we start pushing down again. That indicates that these two legs become one leg, right? And price most likely will attempt another leg down. So it's basically price action becoming larger picture, bigger picture as price unfolds. And you can see the clear reaction at this down measure move. So at that moment, what we can see is that we have this large downtrend played out with two legs. We have an attempt to reverse, but then we push back again. So as I mentioned, it's useful to have this larger downtrends in mind. So once we reach this down low point here, price has this break, makes a new low for this second leg, and then pushes into a reversal. And when you see this reversal, you are considering that price may get a break for this larger downtrend, which happens here. And you are interested in the same area as before. So since we've been in this downtrend, you are looking to see how price reacts around this trend line, right? And you can see that after this leg here, played out with two legs to a new high, we push back below the EMA, back below the overnight low, and we had two attempts to make a new high for this leg here, and we failed around this area. So I think this is a good looking fail second entry long, quite large picture. We also have this break of this downtrend, and we have been bearish yeah, for the entire day. So at that moment you are considering that this leg at least will have a second leg of the same size as a break for this uptrend, or the bearish bias will prevail and we are going to push lower. I think that was a good entry. It's a good fail second entry long. Alright, so after we failed to make a new high here, we also considered that a larger leg down may form, which ended up happening. We push down to this measure move, and now it's looking like we get a larger reversal attempt. So initially we had this reversal attempt, but then we failed to push lower, pushed back above this up measure move, hold on top of it, and now we're forming this larger leg higher. So yeah, I'll look to make another video with the context for the upcoming day. But for now, I think the key point for yesterday price action is to always check how price reacts in strong trends, like we had the last couple of days, very bearish both days, to consider the potential downtrend enlarging and how its price reacts around the potential downtrend lines, because in this area there's a good chance that price may fail to make a new high and basically continue with the downtrend. So it happened once here, it also happened here. If you look at this area as well, let me draw it out. So once you get a clear swing, you consider the potential downtrend that may come out of it, and then you wait for the test of this downtrend line. So this is a clear swing after this correction played out. You get a push below, and you get very clear 2 legs back, trying to make a new high and failing with a clear reaction at this area. So that's basically the fail second entry long, which tells us this price may go lower for the short term, and it's good to take a trade on that. And even here, after we get this break and we get a clear swing high, and we start pushing out of this downtrend, then we would do the same. Basically, we would connect, let's say this is the swing, you would connect and you would see how price reacts around this area. If it fails to push through, it will form a fail second entry long again, and price may go down again. But if it reacts here, eventually it manages to push above this potential downtrend and hold on top of it, then we may go higher and it may form a reversal pattern to the upside. This is it. Thanks for watching.